Welcome to the Mindset, Magic, and Manifestation podcast hosted by me, Michaela J. Get ready to dive into an action-packed, bougie-based, and spiritually guided experience on all things manifesting your next level Lux life. Let's go. Hi, lovely. Welcome back to the Mindset, Magic, and Manifestation podcast with your girl. It is I, the Michaela J, here to teach you how to manifest your next level Lux life. Happy Wednesday. I've got all the fall vibes going. If you hear a weird little crackling, it's my pumpkin bourbon candle from Target that I've been literally having lit in my office for days. I've already put out my fall decor. I have Thanksgiving decor out. And you know what? My excuse is that October is Canadian Thanksgiving. And am I Canadian? No. But do I love a Canadian? Absolutely. And recently my husband and I just bought an espresso machine. So I'm also drinking a decaf almond milk iced latte with sugar-free French vanilla and pumpkin pie spice. So your girl's feeling festive. Oh my gosh. So let's talk. Today I want to talk about how stepping out of your comfort zone is actually holding you back. Now, this was a mindset that served you at the beginning of your journey, probably when you were a little more negative, you were more anxious, you were just kind of getting into doing something big, dreaming big, getting into personal development. So everything essentially felt out of your comfort zone. And we grow past this mindset, but we don't shift the way we think about it, and we don't shift the mindset. And so we end up just manifesting in circles and getting the same results on repeat. And we get frustrated. We almost look around like, I am doing so many things. I'm like constantly getting out of my comfort zone. So why the F am I not getting these next level manifestations? And it's because we need to shift this focus. So I want to talk about that today. Now, before we dive into this iconic mindset shift that you really need, one thing I want to let you know that next week, when you're listening to this, next week on Tuesday, I believe, yes, we are kicking off a brand new live 3-week program called Permission. This is only $33 to join us. This 3-week program is all about becoming the most unapologetic, relentless version of you, because you were born with this like star power energy. You were born with this light that literally lights up every room you walk into, and you've been dimming it down for way too long. You've been holding on to old identities for way too long, and it's time to let it loose. It's time to give yourself that permission to evolve. I wrote on the sales page, like the sign up page, you have been like cosplaying this like underground improv artist, and you are really tired of picking and choosing like what mask to put on what day and what version of yourself and which identity to step into. It's getting overcomplicated and exhausting, and all you want to do is just be yourself and attract the most insane manifestations. And we are going to fully unlock your permission to do that in this program. So the link to join is going to be in the show notes. We're going to have weekly coaching calls and a Facebook group community for the next 3 weeks to just literally unleash the best version of yourself. I literally cannot wait. I'm going to be doing this alongside of you and inside the group, really telling my stories and experiences of what is happening, because I am deciding and declaring that permission. I'm giving myself the permission, and then in permission, you are getting the behind the scenes look of my biggest month yet. Like, I am setting the intention. We might be a week in October, but I actually don't give an F. Like, I am setting the intention right now, like this is going to be my biggest month ever. I'm deciding that in terms of memories, in terms of love, health, how I feel about myself, success, like money, opportunity. Like, this is just going to be like my biggest month yet. I am unapologetically owning that, relentlessly going to be creating it. I'm going to be taking you along with me. So come give yourself permission and let's build the biggest month yet. I'm so excited. Again, it's only $33 to join. The link will be in the show notes of the podcast, but if you can't access the link for whatever reason, just shoot me a DM over on Instagram and I will send it over to you. Okay. So let's talk about why the out of your comfort zone mentality is actually holding you back at this point in your journey. So there's 2 big reasons. Number 1 is where you're at now. Getting out of your comfort zone is just a baby step. You were so used to doing uncomfortable things at this point that saying, okay, well, like, how am I going to get out of my comfort zone? It doesn't change you enough. It doesn't alter your frequency enough. It doesn't alter your identity. It doesn't do enough for you to make you look at yourself differently. At first it did. When you first got into personal development and maybe you had never invested in yourself and you bought a master class or you bought a full program or you paid for a one-on-one coach and you're like, oh my gosh, like that was so out of my comfort zone. Well, now investing in yourself in those ways, like it's not out of your comfort zone. Like you're used to that. And there might be something you invested in and you're like, ooh, okay, we're stretching, but you're used to being stretched at this point. Okay. Maybe getting out of your comfort zone was doing the inner work on yourself to become more extroverted or to become more of a conversationalist, become more of a people person. That's something I've worked a lot on. And at first, being out of my comfort zone really looked like, okay, I need to go to a networking event where I know nobody. I need to go to a retreat where I don't know anybody. I need to go to another country all by myself and go talk to people. I need to meet somebody new. That was really out of my comfort zone. But now those are just like baby steps. Doing those things, again, it might feel like a stretch, but it's a baby step. You get used to it. So when you've progressed beyond that, where out of your comfort zone is okay, like the feeling of it is you feel really regulated doing something different. You feel very calm, or you know how to manage your emotions doing something different. So that holds you back because now instead of having these big quantum leaps where it feels so like, oh my gosh, I've never done anything like this before. Who am I? This is crazy. Like it doesn't feel like that now. It just feels like a baby step of like, oh, okay, here's a stretch. Like we're going to go do that stretch. So that holds you back. You see, like it's not the same quantum leaping energy. It's not that same like manifestation magic about it because it feels so normal. And when we're just constantly we're constantly like circulating, that's the word I wanted to use, circulating the same baby step energy, nothing changes. Now, the second reason why this is holding you back is that you're still not identifying with being the person that you want to be. Because let's take the people person, small talk, conversation, extrovert example. Let's say I'm going to sign up for 3 networking events for the rest of the year. And I'm saying, okay, we're going to get out of our comfort zone. I want to be a better conversationalist. I want to be more of an extrovert. I want to be more social. I'm going to put myself out of there. Like these networking events, like they're out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to go. Immediately, you are telling yourself and the universe and anybody else you tell this story to that you are not comfortable with talking with strangers. You're not comfortable going somewhere alone. You are not comfortable with having conversations and networking and not knowing what the room's going to look like and who you're around. You're automatically telling people you're not comfortable with that. So you are not that person. You do not have that identity yet. So you're basically telling yourself, even though you have done so many things that are out of your comfort zone to improve public speaking, grabbing opportunities, not being afraid to introduce yourself, even though you've done so much, you keep denoting the progress that you have been making by saying that it is still out of your comfort zone. When in reality, you could say, oh my gosh, I've decided one of my goals for the rest of the year is I'm going to go to a networking event every single month and make more connections and put my name on the map and get to know people and get in new conversations and find out new opportunities in my city. Like it's now gone from like, ooh, this is me so out of my comfort zone. I'm going to these again and like all by myself so I can learn how to talk to people versus this is my goal. Like, let's go meet people. Do you see the difference? The out of the comfort zone says, I still don't know how to do this. I'm still not embodied as that version of myself. Versus saying, I'm going to go do this. This is my goal. I'm going to connect with people. This is going to be so cool to expand my network. That's saying I'm somebody who can stand their ground. I'm in my power. I'm confident. I can communicate. I've done the work to be comfortable in these situations, right? It's so different on a frequency, on a vibration level. So the results are completely different when you walk into those rooms. So this is why, quote unquote, stepping out of your comfort zone is holding you back. And what I want you to focus on instead is choosing expansion at all times. Okay. So I'm running a group coaching program right now called the Expansion Experiment. And I told the girls at the beginning, like, for the next 8 weeks, because we get on calls every single week for 8 weeks, for the next 8 weeks, I want you to choose the most expansive option possible in every area of your life at every opportunity. Okay. And then every week we meet and we do coaching around their next expansive moves and what's coming up and what the limiting beliefs are. And we get to rearrange those thoughts together to really focus on the next quantum leap. And if you want to be in a room, a conversation like that, we're pre-enrolling for the next round. So shoot me a message on Instagram about the Expansion Experiment, my group coaching program, and I'll give you the pre-sale sign up link. But I told them, like, you need to choose expansion at all times. And I have 2 really fun stories about this. So at the beginning of my business, I remember sitting in LA, and I've told this story many times. I was in LA. I didn't live there yet. I was on a solo trip. I had had my wallet stolen. I had nothing but like Apple Pay on my phone. And this was before Apple Pay was widely accepted. So I could pretty much only get coffee from one spot, food from one spot, and order Ubers. Like, that's all I could do when I was there. But I remember going to Alfred in Beverly Hills, and I got coffee and I got a little overnight oat, and I had my laptop, my journal, and I got on a call with a coach to talk about her business program that she was selling. And this business program included a retreat weekend in Hawaii when I stayed at the Ritz for the very first time. And I knew I wanted to be a part of this group. I just knew. And she had another program that would have been a better fit for me because at the time I didn't even have my business yet. Like, no business. Had never sold anything, hadn't set up any programs, nothing. And I remember getting on the phone with her and telling her all of my ideas, but basically saying, yeah, I have this business and this is what I'm doing, even though none of it was done yet. I was just already embodying it, deciding it was done. And I told her, I was like, I want to be a part of this mastermind. She had an entry-level business program that was way cheaper that I could have gone for, but I wanted the most expansive option possible. I wanted to go straight to the top. I wanted to join the highest level mastermind. I wanted to be at the VIP weekend, and it was an $8,000 program. And I am not kidding. Like, I didn't have any of that money. I had $300 in my PayPal account, and she wanted to collect the deposit, and I had no debit card. I was like, can I please send you the only $300 I have in my PayPal? And somehow she said yes, but I ended up paying off the whole program, of course, because I manifested all of the money because I chose expansion.
Tron is back.
Are you serious?
And it must be seen on the biggest screen possible.
Whoa!
Experience mind-blowing visuals and one of the best film scores of all time.
I just can't get enough.
It's the game-changing,
Hang on!
cinematic spectacle
Oh my God!
you've been waiting for.
How cool is that?
Tron Ares, rated PG-13, may be inappropriate for children under 13. Only in theaters this Friday. Get tickets now.
Like, I could have been like, well, you know what? Investing myself, it's still out of my comfort zone. So like, okay, it's going to be stretchy if I do the entry-level business program. Maybe I'll just step out of my comfort zone. No, I said, F that. I'm going to the top and I'm choosing the most expansive option possible and made an $8,000 investment when I had like less than $300. I don't even know what was in my normal bank account. Probably not much. So that is one example of me choosing expansion. Another example of this is for my retreat I had in Europe in August, which was incredible. We started in Greece for the first half of the trip, and the second half of the trip was in Italy. And I told the girls as part of their package signing up that their flight from Greece to Italy would be covered. I would be booking it, so we were all traveling together. I could have easily booked economy seats for all of us and like blocked out that part of the plane. I could have easily, but well, not so easily because European planes are like small and dingy sometimes, but especially when it's like a short flight like that. I could have booked us like a whole, business class section, but I wanted to choose the most expansive option possible. And I got us a private jet because I was like, this is going to be insane. This is going to be iconic. I have always wanted this. This has been on my vision board for years. This would be the most expansive, most next level thing for me to do. And it was insane. It was worth every penny. It was worth every dollar. It was worth all of the planning. Like, it was incredible. And you could even argue there's two ways to look at this. Like, oh my gosh, it's out of my comfort zone to, book this private jet. So like, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. But those words do not even sound like they go together. Like, I don't know about you, but I just feel like they don't even go together versus like, what is the most expansive option possible? Like getting a private fucking jet. That's expansive. Thinking about booking that from a place of like, ooh, let's do what's out of my comfort zone. It feels a little bit more like immature versus like the most expansive option is going to be, luxury travel in this way is the more refined, like sophisticated side of things. And that's where you're at. Like, you're no longer in the baby zone of personal development. You are ready and at a point in your life where the decisions are on expansion, not out of getting out of your comfort zone. Because also, like, I would have never booked the jet if I was like, oh, this is out of my comfort zone, because then I wouldn't have identified as the type of person who books a private jet for herself and for her clients and for her best friend to experience. Do you get it? Right? And a lot of this boils down to giving yourself the permission to change, giving yourself the permission to go big, giving yourself the permission to choose expansion. Because that's a whole other mindset piece, and why I'm so excited to run this permission program over the next 3 weeks is like, it takes a lot sometimes for us to give ourselves permission, for us to choose the expansive option, because you can pick an option that's still great. For the investment example, when I started working with that business coach, I could have gotten the intro to business program, and that still would have been a great option. But I'm always thinking good, better, best. And I wanted the best of the best. Even if I had booked for the retreat, getting us all business class flights, that would have been good. That would have been great. Still would have been a luxury, amazing experience. But I want the best of the best. And I was willing to give myself the permission to choose expansion. There's so many times where we just accept what's good or what's great or what's a stretch, rather than going straight to the top now and saying, I'm going for the biggest option possible. Giving yourself that permission and giving yourself the permission to change the way you view yourself. You're no longer viewing yourself as like, oh, I have to step out of my comfort zone. No, you view yourself as somebody who has the identity of where they want to be. They identify as that person now. You identify yourself as the type of person who is always choosing expansion, who is always choosing the top dollar option, the top experience, the most convenience, the best memories, like the best of the best things. Giving yourself permission to change into that person. Because I remember when I wasn't that person, when I didn't do things just from a place of desire and expansion, I only did things from necessity. And that's because for a really long time I had to, but you also outgrow that where you don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to only do things from necessity. And when you change that mindset, the sooner you change that mindset, the sooner you will always be able to pick expansion and desire. Truly deciding to step out of necessity and lack and scarcity, when you step away from that, you will manifest money so much faster. But you have to give yourself that permission, right? So these are the things that are holding you back. Baby stepping. Oh, it's out of my comfort zone. It's a stretch. It doesn't actually change you that much. And all you're doing is continuing to identify with a past version of yourself, the very version of yourself that you are wanting to overcome. And you can just sidestep all of that and choose the most expansive option right now and step into that version of you. And a lot of times the actions don't have to change. With the networking example I gave, oh, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone. I'm going to go to these 3 networking events alone. Or, oh my gosh, I set a goal. I'm going to go to 3 networking events. I'm going to meet new people. I'm going to tell them about the project I'm working on. I'm going to see what opportunities are out there. I'm so excited. Like, that is expansion. So it's not always that the action step changes, it's your energy behind it. And that is what's going to help you reach your next quantum leap a lot faster. Okay. This is so good. Listen to this twice. Really let this settle in for you and give yourself the freedom and the permission to say, I am past this. Like, I have graduated from the out of my comfort zone level. Like, you've been doing the mindset work. You've been doing the manifestation work. Like, you have grown and changed so much. There are certain things that you have to level up, but you also have to view yourself as like the graduate. Like, you have graduated from, grade 12 spirituality and mindset work. Like, we are in university now. Things are leveling up. You're a more sophisticated, put together version of yourself. You are a more optimistic, like growth focused person. And so you have to see yourself as that for you to even go past this out of the comfort zone mindset. All right. Don't forget, in the links in the show notes, there will be a link for you to join Permission, my upcoming 3-week program on becoming the most unapologetic, relentless version of you. And I'm going to be right alongside you, having my biggest month yet, taking you along the ride with me. And then you can also reach out about the upcoming round of the Expansion Experiment, my 8-week group coaching program on creating your next quantum leap from being and not doing. It's going to be so juicy. All right. Talk to you next Wednesday. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to leave a 5-star rate and review. I love hearing your takeaways and wins from the podcast in the review section, so don't forget. Love you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.